All right, so we're back to this, and in this particular lesson, I want to teach you how to send transaction. In this recent one, you saw how to read, balance. You understand that. So, but how do we write data to the blockchain and not just read from it? So that is one of the things that you do in this particular lesson using this system program, this Solana, Web3 package for TypeScript. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to duplicate this particular file. I'm going to duplicate it, paste. I'll call this one, call it send transaction 03 send transactions. Okay, so there we have it. Right, we can close this, close that. Okay, so in this place, I want to perform some transaction. Like if I want to send some tokens to some Solana to another account, I want to show you how you can do that with this particular package. So let's start with to get that, we're going to keep some things, like we're going to keep this thing here. All this will be valid, creating cluster and all of those things will be great. So then it will be from here that we'll have to make some modifications. Okay, so I want to call this the sender's address. So sender address. I also want another one called the receiver address. So this is the account that you want to send some money to, so receiver address. And I want to show you, I want to show you their balance on the space. No, don't worry. Once we get this thing together, we can do that. Okay, so this is the account that we want to send some Solana tokens. Currently, it has about 18 souls. Okay, so 18 Solana tokens. And we want to perform some transaction that we send it to this particular account. So this will become our receiver's address, because currently if I check this, if I say npx, es run, I'll say 0.2.1. So when I execute this, you will see my current balance is 10 Solana token for this particular wallet address. So this is our public wallet address. So we want to send some Solana token from this address straight up to this address I'm about to enter here, which is the receiver address. So call this new public key. So public key is coming from here, this Solana Web3. So public key, and I pass in this in a string. So this is the address where we'll be sending some Solana tokens to. So, and the amount of Solana token we want to send. So if I say const amount here, I can say something like 1. Okay, 1. Let's say 1.5. All right, so 1.5 Solana tokens. And what else? We also, then the next thing you need to do is to create a transaction object. Okay, before you be able to send, what you're doing is creating. You're not reading. You're not just reading data. You're creating a transaction if you want to send money to another account. So to do that, you have to create a transaction, and this is how you create transaction in Solana using this Web3 package. Say const transaction is equal to new transaction. See, I'm importing it from Solana, this Web3 package. You understand? So I'm getting it here. So this will be the instance of a transaction object. All right. So after I've created this transaction object, the next thing is for me to define, the instruction of that transaction. Okay, to define the body of the transaction, there is another package. There's another functional package that we need to import from this library. It is called system program, because what I'm creating is like a program, you understand, like that transaction, thing. So I want to you actually need to get this package called system program. So let me say system. Well, let me put it this way. Say const. You want to say transaction instruction, because if you want to create this transaction instruction, you need to use this package called system program. Okay, it's coming again from this Solana Web3. So you get that, and then within here we have so many packages, so many so many method, but the one we're looking for is this transfer, because I want to create a transfer instruction. So you open it and it contains some parameters in an object format, you understand? So inside here you want the first parameter, which is from public key. So this is where the money is being is coming from. This is the sender's public key. So you put in the sender's public key here. So sender's address, okay, and you need to say dot public key, okay, and then you also need another address, which is to public key, where you're sending this money to. This will be the receiver's address, which is just the public key. And then you also need because this has to be sent in LAMP port. It can be sent in Solana. Basically what I mean is, since I want to send amount of 1.5, I can't just send 1.5. I have to refer that to its equivalent in LAMP port, which is something similar to when you're working with Ethereum and you do something like we. You want to send it in we to we and from we, that kind of conversion. So it's a LAMP port, and the LAMP port is going to be this amount multiplied by LAMP port per so. Okay, so that is on point. So this is the instruction body, or the instruction for making that transfer. And after you have performed this instruction, you can now do transaction.add. You see that? Create this add, and then you now add this transaction instruction. No, I think we should call it transfer instruction, because it makes more sense to call it transfer instruction. Transfer instruction, great. So this transfer instruction, you will now have to actually execute it. So to execute it, so that you can get a transaction reference, which is a signature. We call it signature. Okay, you do await. It has to be waited for, because this process is will involve validation from the blockchain, consensus model, and approval, and once there is a confirmation before the signature is returned. So that's why we have to wait for it, you understand? So we need to call this thing called send and confirm transaction. There is a package here that is called send and confirm transaction. It is part of this Solana Web3 package. See, so with this, you see, I'm not writing in smart contract. All of these things are part of the Solana ecosystem for TypeScript SDK, which is cool. I can't wait in the future when we're doing for Anchor framework. There is a framework in Solana called Anchor, and also if you want to go deep into Rust itself, you want to develop with the barebone Rust, then there is also that as well. So this is levels upon levels. All right, so you now pass this connection. You see this connection here, because you need to know which cluster or which segment of the blockchain, which is either DevNet, testnet, or mainnet, that you want to send to. Our own is actually a DevNet in this case. So if you're working with a mainnet, you have to just change this to mainnet as well. Okay, so you pass in that connection, and the transaction, which is this, you also need to pass it here. After you pass the transaction, you want to pass the key pair, whom is to pay for this particular transaction, which will be the sender. I think I should just change it to sender instead of sender address, because the sender has public and private key. So just put the sender here. All right, so this will then be sent, and once it is successful, it's going to store a signature here. And after that, I just want to log out the result. So I can say transaction TX successful. Okay, and then you want to pass in this signature. Okay, so this is signature here. Okay, for now let's keep that for there, and then you can see, need to totally write how make that message. You want to say transaction successful, and then you put the amount that was sent. So do sent or sold sent. All right, and then after you do that, you can say sent to you can put the address that is the receiver address. Okay, and you can also put in the transaction reference. So you can say something like done, or let's just say something like transaction, signature is, you're passing the signature here. So you're just passing this signature here. You need to make sure that this is an interpolatable string, which is a backtick. Okay, so there you have it. Now this is how you perform a transaction. So let's test it out first, and let's execute this to see how it goes. So I will say, so 03. Let's perform this transaction. Ooh, that was successful. So you see, I should have just kept this as in so, which is good because it's already in so. So this amount has been sent to this address. So now when we come to the browser, you see this. If I add 1.5 to this, this should be around around 20 Solana tokens. So let's refresh that to see. So you see that 20, and you can see the reference here. This is just a transaction that have happened, which should be the same. This transaction reference should be the same as this one here. So if I copy this transaction reference and come to this place to search, please look at this extra symbol. It was not supposed to be there. So yeah, it came as a result of me adding this here, so I should remove this. There you have it. You can see the information. Okay, you see the details about this particular transaction. It is finalized, the date that it was sent, the amount that the addresses involved in the transaction. You can see that this one is the account that was created. This was the account that was debited. It was debited 1.5 Solana, but you can see how little this transaction fee is. So little, that will be 0.000005, which is so small. That is so cool, because most blockchain network charge a lot, especially Ethereum. You understand? So you can see how the amount of tokens for this account has also reduced, and this has climbed up. System program also got small thing out of it as well. So that is it. That is it for this particular segment.